Welcome back home.
Thank you, man.
We made it. Triple K.
Oh, big horrible black clouds.
Maybe if we go to Krabby, we'll have a chance to fly.
Paramotoring is whatever you want it to be. If you want it to be a sport, it's a sport. If you want it to be a way of life, it's a way of life. This is pushing the limits of what a human can do with a machine.
It's an unregulated sport. You can go anywhere you want and fly.
We're going on this trip for 2 months through Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, places that have never been flown before.
There's nothing better than 3 best friends taking off and ripping through 4 incredible countries.
I can't go anywhere right here.
This can't be good. If we get inflation this low, we're gonna hit the water.
We need to get back to land, but we're like barely going forwards, just trying to cut through this wind and turbulence.
It's fucking strong, dude.
Let's go out and moor over the ocean.
We came here to Krabby because we've been hearing all along that this is like one of the most beautiful places on earth. We're headed to Raleigh Beach, and it's supposed to be amazing. I'm not stopping until we see this place.
On the other side of this shit, we'll be fine, dude.
Yeah, baby.
This place is ridiculous, dude.
Once we get around to the west side of all of these monuments, that's when we were rewarded with this insane landscape.
Look at this.
We're experiencing Krabby like no one has ever experienced it before. We're flying right in front of these gigantic cliffs. We made it to one of the most beautiful places on earth.
Hey, Matt, come up next to me. Let me look at your gas, dude. Hold right there. Come over here closer.
Get closer. Get a good look. Oh, you're almost out of gas. Wow.
Matt ran out of gas. He's been known to run out of gas. I mean, when we were on our trip throughout Central and South America, people along the way started calling him Sin Gasolina. Like that was his nickname, Sin Gasolina, because he was always running out of gas.
Are you guys landing over there or what?
I had seafood pizza for lunch. That clearly wasn't the best idea. And there's nothing worse than being ill and in the air, so I decided to skip this one out.
All right, guys, if you're gonna land, do you want me to meet you there?
Yes, come over here. I'm gonna send in the coordinate where we're gonna land.
Gotcha, big dog.
Oh, dude, there's plenty of room to land down there. Don't even worry about that. Go ahead, I'm gonna follow right behind you.
Motor is off.
Woo! I made it. I'm out of gas.
Hey.
Yeah, Glenn.
Dude, was that not a roast ridiculous flight? You feel better?
Still feeling rough, man.
You missed
Don't
out
know
on a
what
good
the
one,
fuck
man.
I ate, but
That was one for the books, seriously.
yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. It's getting dark.
All right.
That was amazing, dude.
That was like some of the hairiest wind conditions I've ever flown through. But you know, it was worth it to push through it because the view was like amazing, like once in a lifetime opportunity to see Krabby from the air.
Watch your heels, man.
You like the flying?
Yeah, beautiful. I saw, in the sky, very beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so beautiful here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
It's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
This guy just coming up and saying thanks for the flight. It was awesome to watch you. He really enjoyed it. I mean, it made that whole flight even better.
Have you seen paramotor before?
No, first time. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That was the worst conditions I've ever flown in my life.
Today was
Yes.
bad, huh?
That bad.
Fucking banging, dude.
It's stormy
That was
conditions,
fun.
huh? Unbelievable.
It's a cyclone,
Yeah.
for sure.
Dude, we just flew in a cyclone. That was our first flight in Krabi, and it was a great one. But it's time to head south. There's one of the most beautiful places in the world, and that place is Bamboo Island.
Scratch that one off the list.
Typhoon flight.
After sleeping off the buzz from their mind-blowing flight in Krabi, the guys are already in hot pursuit of their next adrenaline rush.
We've got one more flight here in Thailand before we pack everything up and head to Malaysia. This one is gonna be a home run. We're going south to cruise the PP Island chain and check out Maya Bay. Some people would argue that Maya Bay is one of the most beautiful places on the planet, and we're headed to fly there. We'll be the first people to ever fly this place with a paramotor.
It's going to be a pretty cool boat ride, huh?
Yeah, this way.
It's like the wind just kicked on, huh?
Their flight over the PP Island chain will start at Bamboo Island, which is a 45-minute boat ride from Krabi. But the receding cyclone is still churning up a nasty swell in the Andaman Sea.
Yeah, man. Roll. This is adventure, huh?
We're at the tail end of this cyclone, so the whole boat ride out there is pretty rough. We're just getting pounded.
Yeah, every time we went over a wave and dropped down again, I saw the equipment jumping up by half a meter. Bam, bam.
Yeah. Paramotor's jumping out there, man.
That's one hell of a boat ride. That was probably one of the worst boat rides I've ever had.
What's it? Oh, they ride, man.
What a ride. Go with him, go with him, go with him. Go with him.
This typhoon was moving away, so we just wanted to be ready to go and fly, and unfortunately it was still quite a lot of wind.
Everything's safe.
That's pretty safe.
Yeah, pretty safe.
Problem is the wind, though.
The wind is from the west, and we're on the east side. And there's land there, so when air goes over the landmass, it causes rotor. Can we take off in rotor? Yeah. Is it a good idea? No.
Feel that?
Yeah. The motor just fell over. What do you think? Oh, your motor just got blown over? Oh, shit.
I think all we can really hope is that, this calms down, but there's just no telling if it's going to calm down at the end of the day. It's just random typhoon weather.
All I'm thinking is, all right, let's just hope it passes, the wind dies down, and we can fly. Looking at the wind conditions here on this island, most people would call us crazy to think that we might be able to fly here, but experience tells me all we have to do is wait. You feel that? I think we're good, man.
Yeah, switching on us. It's cool.
If we want to get this, we got to do it now. Let's go, man.
Yeah.
I'm only going to be here once in my life with Matt and Pascal. You can't leave early. You got to stick it out.
What do you think, man?
I think we can take off.
Yeah.
My toggle snapped off. I broke my toggle.
My toggle was tangled up in my lines. My wing just went crazy and I yanked on it and I ripped off the brake toggle.
It's done, dude. I can't fly with that.
That handle is on the main control line, so you can't really fly without it. If you did, it would be pretty dangerous and stupid.
Well, Matt's busy now.
take off without me. I'm gonna stay back and fix my handles, and I'll join you later if there's time.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, man.
Sounds
Deal?
good.
Let's go and take our window now.
This is our moment. This is the window that we've been waiting for all day. 10 minutes before this, we were gonna leave, and we waited. And now, Pascal and I have this opportunity to go and seize this flight.
Okay, smooth over here, smooth. See that big mountain right in front of us? That's Maya Bay. That's where we need to go. That's like the most important spot of this whole trip.
When I set out on this flight, my mission was to make it to Maya Bay. Like, I'm going to Maya Bay, and whatever I see in between Maya Bay and there is great. And little did I know that this whole entire flight was just gonna be one mind-blowing experience. I didn't even know that the world could even present itself in this fashion. Like, these formations that came out of the water were just like a painting, you know, like something I can't even describe in words to you.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Look at down here. There's a beach down here. Oh my God. Oh my God, look at this place.
Just as we got over to the middle part, which was a big lagoon, what was below us was just, it was beauty. It was Mother Nature at its best.
Wow! Incredible.
Where we flew on those islands, nobody has ever flown there with a paramotor before. It was a moment of discovery and appreciation of this beautiful planet. It was exhilarating.
Wow. Incredible. Hey, look at this bird. Look at this bird. Yeah, he's joining us, huh? Oh my God! I'm gonna go say hello. Wow! Wow!
After all the beautiful scenery, after this crazy experience, this eagle comes and he flies with us.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
A huge bird came out. This must have had a wingspan of like probably about 2 meters. Just came out, a huge beak. It was beautiful, and it came to check us out.
Pascal, you crazy bastard!
Hey, what are you gonna do, Pascal? I'm coming for landing, yeah.
Coming in for the landing, I knew it was going to be in rotor. But luckily, on the side of the island, just where the winds was coming round before the rotor, where our original takeoff was, there's an area just with a thin slither of beach, which luckily gave us the landing point.
Oh, Glenn, how amazing was that flight, man?
What?
How fucking amazing was that flight, man? That's right on my top of the list, right up there with the top ones.
I think he was in shock. I was like, Glenn, wake up, man. He's like, whoa, 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 this is amazing.
Wow, just had the best flight of my life. Whew. We got our window, like that was our home run. times 1,000.
Amazing, huh?
Pascal and I headed over to the other side of the island, and then we called Matt up and had him bring the boat over to pick us up.
Okay, so you're gonna go the highway, right?
I think that this was Thailand's way of saying, thanks for coming. You had a great run, you know, come back another time. You leave Thailand knowing that you gave it your all and Thailand gave you everything it had. Malaysia is our next mountain to climb, and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
hug,
good,
dude.
huh?
Give me a hug, bye. Give me a hug, bye.
The guys got back from the flight. They're totally stoked. I mean, they're just like buzzing. And I've been stuck on the beach the whole time. But the good news is my gear is fixed and I'm ready for action in Malaysia.
That's a beautiful flight.
The guys speed back to the mainland to get their beauty sleep, because tomorrow, a new adventure and a new country await.
As weather conditions are shutting down here, it's pretty much clear we need to be moving south and away from this cyclone. Now it's time to say thank you to Thailand and carry on south.
We've got some great flights planned in Malaysia. Langkawi, I've looked up pictures, I've heard great stories about this place, and our final destination, Kuala Lumpur, city flying again. Let's go south, go to better weather, let's end this trip with a grand slam.
From Krabi, the guys will drive 200 miles south to the Malaysian border. Then, they'll drive 30 miles to the port in Kuala Perlis and take a ferry to Langkawi, where their first flight in Malaysia awaits.
You excited?
Yeah.
Me too.
When we first started this trip, I knew that Malaysia was our end goal, but it seemed at that time like so far away. It's crazy that we're actually here, and man, we're gonna make the most of it.
Here we come.
Not even 50 miles behind us was this totally different country that had totally different beliefs. We've seen so many diverse cultures, ethnicities, regions of the world, and this one's no different. Malaysia offers a totally different kind of culture, and it's really exciting to finally be here.
Once off the ferry, the guys will head to their hotel to catch up with their gear and build their engines before the sun goes down. They want to be ready for flight first thing in the morning.
This is our first flight in the last country of the trip. It's going to be incredible, so we're just going to go big. So we decided we could add our smoke systems and shoot smoke out the back. The smoke system is a little device that injects oil into the exhaust, and of course that will instantly turn into smoke because the exhaust is so hot, and just come out in large puffs of smoke.
The problem I'm having, I actually can't tighten it enough. This hole is loose. It's just the rivet that's installed. They didn't clamp it tight enough, so sadly I can't smoke anymore. So this is my old pipe. I'll have this pipe. It's the same, just without the hole. So.
We've got our engines prepped, we're ready to go, and it's time to get some shut-eye so we can wake up super early tomorrow and have all day to play on this amazing island.
Who is it?
It's us.
Come in.
In true Glenn fashion, he had already been up for hours, planning this all night. I'm not actually sure Glenn sleeps.
Anything good?
Well, this is a pretty big island, so I think we should take off on the north side of the island and fly this national park right here. There's this place called Killam Geopark. This is one of a handful of geoparks in the world recognized by UNESCO.
Yeah,
and then there's this cool little valley right here.
Oh, yeah.
These are areas of the world that are just so pristine and so untouched that whatever country they're in, the nation determines that they really need to preserve this place. So for us to fly here is very special.
All right.
You guys ready?
All right,
Yeah,
let's go fly.
Killam Geopark is 16 miles northeast of the hotel, and it's the first of only 3 remaining flights on this adventure.
Oh yeah.
This is our first flight in the last country that we're visiting on this amazing journey. And so you have that like conundrum right there. It's the first of the last, the beginning of the end. So I'm just gonna take these next few flights and cherish every moment of them. All right, you guys, let's talk about our flight plan. So we're gonna take off, we're gonna fly north. That's where we're gonna enter into this bay.
That's where the mangroves are, right?
Yeah, and that's where we're gonna jump over these mountains. Once we get there, we'll fly around the northern side of the island, back to the beach.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Let's go! Yeah! That's how you start your day with the wingtip flag. Woo!
Welcome to paradise.
Oh my God, this is gonna be amazing. Guys, this is gonna be amazing.
This is already amazing.
It took almost 2 months and 4 countries, but finally, Guy's flights are smoking.
We arrived to this huge opening. That's the entrance, you know, to this mangroves and rivers.
Wow, it doesn't get smoother than this.
There was not a ripple on the water, and I came down and just dabbed my feet on it. I just suddenly felt the water take the weight of my feet, and now I'm skiing on this water.
This is the most epic foot drag ever. Oh my God.
Kicking in a nice turn, round the trees, you're snaking around these mangroves, and it's just like, you just feel like an eagle at that point, ripping down mangroves.
We gotta jump over this hill. Oh my God.
We jump over this ridgeline and bam, we're like thousands of years in the past, like a time machine. Millions of years, really, because this place is untouched. For a moment, it was just Pascal, Matt, and me, suspended over this prehistoric landscape, and that was all that existed.
Wow, look at this.
I was just waiting for a velociraptor or a T-Rex to jump out the trees and try and grab us. We're in an untouched place where humans don't normally go. I kind of felt privileged to be there and witness this impressive place that only the animals and nature get to play here.
Welcome to the jungle.
I bet that me and my friends are some of the only people to ever have seen that part of the forest from that close. I think you can fly over in a helicopter or you can parasail by the coast, but you can't fly in that jungle. As close as we were, I was kicking trees at some point. It's total paradise.
So we saw it from the air, now we're gonna rent jet skis and tear up those mangroves on the ground.
Elephant to grow. on 1 second, okay?
There's a monkey in that tree. Wild monkey. Wild monkey, man.
Here, give me.
Woo! I let those other guys play with the monkeys. I'm not a monkey man myself.
Hold up, little monkey. Okay, stay ready. Monkey buffet.
I thought they learnt their lesson before. I mean, it's not like the other monkeys who are used to seeing humans. They're out there living in the wild, not in the comfort of a cave or in a temple or something. These were full-on man-eating monkeys.
Get you. But he was eating it out of my hand so fast.
I don't know, they're just awesome. Monkeys are awesome. Who doesn't love monkeys?
The guys have one last flight here, and they plan to leave their mark on Langkawi. Their takeoff zone is just inland from their ultimate destination, one of Langkawi's most famous and popular tourist attractions, Eagle Square.
All right, here we are.
Woo, look at these clouds over here, man.
Yeah.
Sweet.
How do you guys like my new shirt? Since we're gonna be landing in the eagle's nest, I thought it would be appropriate. This is our last flight in Langkawi before we head off to Kuala Lumpur, and we're gonna be doing it over Eagle Square, which is really cool. There's gonna be tons of people out there. We're gonna go out with a bang. We got something special in store. Let's walk through this three-way spiral. So you continue forward and we both split off and go back like this.
So you carry on
Okay.
straight. Now
Turn
we
back.
turn back again.
It's really easy to do a synchro spiral with 2 pilots, but when you add an additional pilot, 3-way synchro spiral, things can get a little tricky.
Okay.
And then we get in.
Okay.
Okay, bam, enter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may work.
And
it
what's
may
your
work.
way?
The thing is that I think we could do what you said,
All right.
but come in already with this turn set up.
This turn set up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
You
so
see what
let's
I'm
try
saying?
it. Okay, right? So
Okay,
we're like
so
looking
fine
at each
out.
other.
Okay.
All right.
Go out
Okay,
this
good.
way.
Let's
Go
go.
ahead. Okay, I'm off.
All right, turn. We're getting
Yeah,
closer.
big
And then we
rotation,
close
big
it. We
rotation.
tighten it.
Okay. I like that, yeah.
See what I mean?
I'm really impressed to see how we've come together as a team since the beginning of this trip. Glenn especially has sort of loosened up a bit. Now he's more open to different ideas, and that's great. We're just in a good space as a team right now.
And that's all right. Do that.
It looks funny on the ground, huh?
It'd be a lot more fun in the sky, for sure.
As long as we can pull this trick off, the tourists at Eagle Square are gonna get one hell of a show.
Let's go in this fast, man. I see you. Come on. Woo, God, look, the flying through clouds. Oh my God.
Playing in clouds is one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life. It's almost like you're flying in heaven, really. To have this gift of this cloud flying towards the end of our journey is just something else. Mind blown, epic.
That was sweet, dude. Woohoo! Wow, look at that place, guys. Yeah, baby. Beautiful. Hey, nice.
We start getting all fired up and we're all doing maneuvers to get down and lose height, and we're pulling off loops and wingovers and then getting down towards the eagle's nest, which is this massive eagle that was just sitting there on this star-shaped little bit of land.
boat. Anyway, yeah?
We give each other the signal, three-way spiral. Let's go for it.
So of course, you know, bam, instantly that little training session that we just had on the ground comes into play.
I'm the one that'll go straight, okay?
Wait till we're all in line!
So we've got different weight, different speed,
You're moving pretty fast, Pascal.
and all those speeds not being the same make this trick really technical. If you do it wrong, you can crash into each other.
Gotcha, Glenn. See you, buddy. Let's do this, dudes.
It was just perfect. It was absolutely perfect. We're just locked into it, all three of us, equally spaced. And then as we get to the bottom, I just crank it in a little bit more, get the wingtip down just out of the helix. That was just like the cherry on the cake.
After we do the synchronized spiral, me and Pascal decide to start doing this high five trick. We're gonna fly head on and smack our wings together. Pascal and I understand that if we improperly time it or we do too big of a high five, we could both crash into the water. I've already got 2 life jackets on my paramotor and I'm wearing one. Same for Pascal. We understand the risk.
Even though Pascal was like really low, he had all his safety equipment on, you never know.
As I fell into the water, my whole face and head got submerged. You're going from, woohoo, this is great, amazing fun, to panic. And I'm thinking to myself, is my flotation equipment working? Just as I start to really go into panic mode, I hear the inflatable devices working, and I'm like, whew, close shave. Next thing's up, I see a boat pull up, and just really cool people help me out, which is really sweet.
You have it? We're going in close. Thank you for the hand.
And then we just started getting my paramotor out of this mess of lines and water.
We tried a new trick and didn't go quite right.
It's just terrible because seawater is just eating away at all of that.
That's what happens when you're pushing the limits, huh?
Wait, where you at?
I'm gonna land.
Man, all these people.
This is gonna be a tricky landing here.
Give me 5, dude. We're here at the Eagle's Nest. Man, I took out Pascal. I feel bad.
Dude, let's go find it. We get all our stuff and we head to the pier where the boat took Pascal.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Thank you.
So we arrive there, we see him, he's smiling and he's all good. I didn't like take out my friend and get him hurt or break any of his equipment. You survived?
That was a trick gone wrong, huh?
It's all good, so major relief right there.
You need to get all the salt water off it first.
Salt water is very corrosive and it's just gonna rust everything immediately. It's just gonna degrade the strength of the metal.
You can still see there's still salt deposit on there.
It's really important that you rinse everything, every part of it. You need to rinse immediately with fresh water.
It's pretty much a write-off as far as using that motor for the next flight, which is flying in Kuala Lumpur in the city. There's just no way that I could use that engine on such a risky flight.
You know, I have a daughter, and
If I want to do anything extreme, then it's all calculated and it's always with a safety margin. So it is about the risk and the reward at the end of the day. So we decided to pull out a spare engine that we had in the back of the truck.
Nice fresh spare motor.
But as with all fresh new mechanical parts, there could be teething problems.
Moment of truth. All right. Feels really good actually. Sounds good. Let's pack everything and then move on, huh?
Langkawi's been great, Malaysia's been awesome, but it's time to hit the road, head south, because we've got one more massive flight to top everything off, the capital city, Kuala Lumpur.
A fine day today. We're taking the ferry.
The guys are going to board a ferry at the Kua Jetty and head back to mainland Malaysia. Then they're going to hit the road and drive to Kuala Lumpur.
We've done city flying, but this city is on another level. I mean, in the States, it's illegal to fly over cities, in between buildings and all that. But here, we're going right in the middle of the city and we're gonna fly it. What's dangerous about flying Kuala Lumpur is not the flight, but your landing. If you have a problem, you might need to land on the highway. There's gonna be cars buzzing by you. You might have power lines. There's a lot of turbulence coming off the buildings. City flying is really difficult.
Driving into Kuala Lumpur, you get this realization that this is the end. You know, our last flight is gonna be here. We have made it all the way from Vietnam. Like, just that fact right there, that we started in Hanoi and we are finally in Kuala Lumpur. Like, what an achievement. And here we are in this totally modern urban city and we're gonna fly here. A paramotor pilot's dream is to fly in a city like this. It's like the icing on the cake. Oh man, this is perfect.
Oh yeah.
All directions you can take off. I think that's west with a light.
Well, the KL Tower is just there.
Can you see it from here though?
You can see, I saw it when we pulled up. I've flown over cities in South Korea, over the capital of El Salvador, but nothing compares to this flight at all. The Petronas Towers are almost 1,500 feet tall. The KL Tower is almost 1,400 feet tall. To put that into perspective, the One World Trade Center is the tallest building in New York City, and it's only 300 feet taller than the Petronas Towers. So this is gonna be like flying in New York City, which is crazy. This is a huge area.
This is it. This is the place where we put the cap on this trip, huh?
To finish up the trip here in Kuala Lumpur, in the capital of Malaysia, is just amazing.
It's our last flight, gentlemen.
Goal is here. We've done all of Southeast Asia. But here's our goal, dude.
That's our trophy right there.
Ching.
Finish line.
Let's go and get it.
The wind's kind of coming from this way, so I'm gonna set up right here, take off that way. Here's our route of flight today. When Pascal, Matt, and I started this trip, we knew that Kuala Lumpur was gonna be our final flight. Take off here to the golf course. That's where we enter the city. Now that we're here, I'm nervous. I'm like shaking at my core. This is the grand finale. 100 meters from every building, so we don't go any closer than 100 meters because we got to make sure that we follow the rules. They've given us permission to fly here, so if we break any rules, it could cause a lot of trouble. All right, let's get this done, guys.
All right.
Woo. Yeah, it should be pretty sweet, huh?
Keep following me, guys.
Can you say that again without a British accent?
As we're flying towards a city, I feel a little bit intimidated. It's just a massive concrete jungle.
There's a lot of emotion going on. You're faced with these extra dangers of flying over a city, but at the same time you're wanting to enjoy it to the maximum, and there comes a moment where all these emotions and all these thoughts just merge into one, and suddenly it becomes all about the flight, and you're just thinking, you know what, let's just fly.
A dream come true. And look, we're about to high five.
I feel like we've just landed on the moon. Few people will ever get to experience what we're experiencing right now.
What are we doing here? Oh my God! I can't believe this.
It's almost like in that moment you are in the Matrix and time stands still and everything around you is in slow motion.
There's just a sense of achievement, with my friends that I've come on this amazing adventure with. And we're just looking at each other, soaking this incredible moment up. It's something really special.
I was just flapping my arms like a bird at one moment, just soaring through the city. I couldn't even believe it that we made it this far on the whole trip.
Hey, look at those birds right to your left. They're catching a thermal.
The biggest thing about this trip was to be some of the first people to fly over some of the coolest places in Southeast Asia.
Epic flight, epic.
Yeah.
Starts epic, the whole trip's gonna be epic.
But for me, the paramotor is so much more than this machine that pushes you through the air.
Flying camera.
Look at all the kids.
Definitely, I've grown up a little bit more on this trip. Seeing these two guys fly and rip it apart and, do air shows at these events. And now I'm traveling across the world with these two guys. And we're all flying on the same level.
We're gonna follow them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gliders up here. Stacking your eyes.
Flying with this team that I trust on this trip, I've pushed myself a lot. And I've become a much better pilot.
When I originally left for this trip, I was worried whether leaving Rose was going to be worth it for 2 months. Especially knowing the risks involved. I know now with certainty the answer is yes.
Hello, man!
Adventures like this help me become the man and the kind of father I want to be. The kind that can teach his daughter to take life by the horns and chase her passion.
Anybody know where the spreader bars are? We can't do shit until we get that done. My biggest hurdle was becoming a more patient person. And I think that this trip has allowed me to see that and deal with it, and I'll learn from that.
This is the flight right here. This is so amazing. This is what we're here for.
It's because we have that yearning for for adventure and seeking out new places, that we will become better people. You know that this journey through life is just a never-ending journey of discovery and enlightenment.